Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Barclay Hagan, the Director of Client Care for OnPoint, and this morning we have Ganesh here with us. As you probably know, there are over 1,000 canned reports available in Spectrum, and this morning Ganesh is going to show us how to easily create custom reports in Spectrum Business Intelligence so that you have the specific job information that you need. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to enter those into the questions section of the GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll have some time at the end of the presentation to address those. With that, I will hand it over to you, Ganesh.
Okay, thank you, Barclay, and good morning, everyone. So as Barclay mentioned, there are a lot of reports in Spectrum, and so with BI, we do have the ability to kind of take a look at some pre-built data sources and then slice and dice and kind of build our own reports with the information that's just relevant to us, and also allows us to do some formatting and some filtering and some other features that we'll take a look at today. So to get started, we'll go into the Business Intelligence module, and we're going to click on Create an Analysis Report. And so as you can see, there's a lot of data sources that have been built for us. And so as it goes through accounting, through some general ledger and project management. So we're going to take a look at just some job cost information today, just build a simple report. So I'll go into cost detail and I'll hit on OK. So it's going to give me a bunch of different fields on my left that I can choose to build my report on. So we're going to build just a very simple report. I'm going to choose my company here. Just drag and drop. And if you're new to business intelligence, it's a very easy to use, intuitive tool to build reports. And so we'll take our job code and drop that underneath here, and you can see how the report layout is being developed on the fly as I drop these codes. And so one thing you can see, this number 11 is actually the number of fields on that job record that I have access to. So if I right click on it, and I can say properties, and these are all the different fields related to the job record that I can add on my report. So I'm just going to say I want to add the job description here. So for each company, these are the jobs underneath it, and these are the job descriptions. And then I can add some other information. So now I want to add some detail to this. And so let's just say that I want to do my cost to date. I'll drop that here. And I also want to do my projected cost to date. I'll drop that underneath here. Okay, but now I want to calculate what my remaining budget is. So I want to perform a calculation. So how do we do that? So if I right click on this column here, I can do a define measure, and here I can create my own calculated measure. Okay, so I'm going to click that, and you can see there are some other options that we can choose as well if we want to sort or filter based on these options. But we're going to do a calculated measure here, and we'll call this the remaining budget. Okay, and I'm going to say it's going to be in currency, and I'll just get rid of what we have here, and you can see that the two fields that I had, the cost to date, projected to date, are the ones that show up. So I'm just going to select this and then do my numerical operator here, which is minus, and then cost to date, and then I'm going to hit OK. And now it's calculated what my remaining budget is. So it's just a very simple way to say, hey, what's my remaining budget across my jobs? Okay, and I can format this as well If I go to conditional formatting, I can say, you know what, show me, a green to red. Show me what's trending green and what's trending red, so I can see which one I need to pay attention to. Okay. So very, very simple report. And so, as you look through the reports that we have in Spectrum, there may be pieces of those reports that you want to see specifically. And so BI allows us to quickly come in and within, a few minutes, we've created a report that we can now publish out and quickly see, what our remaining budget is across our jobs. Okay. So I can also filter this based on, this is across all the different companies. So if I just have one company, or if I only want to see one company, I can right click on this and I can add a filter. So I'm going to say, you know what, I just want to see it for company CCD. I'll hit OK. So it's filtered now for company CCD. Okay. So I can now save this report. Take a minute here. And save it in my location. And I'll just call this as remaining, budget. I'll hit OK. So there are other things that I can do with this report as well. I can, if I want to see it in a chart format, I can pick, just sort of a chart view to see this report in, and save it in that form as well. Okay, so there's lots of different ways in which we can format and view this report as well. Okay, so I've saved this report, and if I want to, I can also break it out. If I want to add a little more detail to it, I can say, you know what, I want to see my phases as well for this report. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop my phase code. So on the fly, it broke out my job by the different phases and broke out all my costs as well at the phase level. Okay, and if I want to see the cost type, I can add the cost type as well. So it's going to take my phase code and break that out into my labor, material, sub, other, or whatever your cost types that you've defined are. Okay. So if we don't want to, if we want to remove it, we just right click on it and say remove from report. And the report will automatically take it out and recalculate and show us the data in the appropriate manner. So very quick, very easy ways in which to adjust and modify your reports. So I'll save this, and then I can close out of it, and then I can go and add it to my favorites. So I'm just going to close out of this report here. And if I go into my reports now, into my reports, let me just refresh the screen here. Oops, I jump into my I'll just reload my pager. And I thought I had saved that, but it didn't show up there. So let me just jump into my report administration and take a look there. Otherwise, we can quickly recreate that. So I do see it there. So while I'm on the screen, I just want to point out that if we need to add any kind of permissions for different people to see it, we can come in here and go into properties and then share it and publish this report for others to see in your organization. I'm going to jump back into Spectrum real quick and just check as to why that did not show. So if you'll bear with me just 1 second. And there it is. I just had to refresh my screen. So I can then add this as a favorite. It will show up on my little favorites menu here, and I can run this report again. And there my report shows up. So as I mentioned, if I have permissions, I can come in and add things on the fly again to this report if I wanted to add my phase or cost type. And I can also hide some of the detail depending on who's viewing it, and kind of restrict them from making any changes to it if I just want them to view this report. Okay, so this is just a quick example of how we can come into Spectrum using the business intelligence module and build a report based on our requirements that kind of go hand in hand with some of the more detailed canned reports. And what we can also do is take a series of these little reports and build a dashboard similar to what you see on the regular dashboard, but this would be a business intelligence dashboard that would have all these reports in a dashboard format, so you can see information readily available for across different jobs. Okay, so I hope that was a helpful introduction into Spectrum Business Intelligence reports and how we can build those to meet our requirements. Um, Certainly, there are some more complex scenarios that we can build out. Today, we just looked at a very simple one, just to demonstrate how easy it is for anybody to go in there and drop some fields in there and watch the data come together. So if you have any questions or any specific requirements, happy to address those and answer any questions that you may have.
Ganesh, we do have a couple of questions. One of them, the first one is, are we limited with the formulas we want to use?
Yes, there are some limitations on the formulas and also on the data sources that we have access to. So there are some limitations, yes.
Okay, and the second question is, I used DB Analytics in a prior job and there were some limitations. What if we want to add other cost details? We only have those that are under available fields.
Yeah, and kind of the same thing applies here, because we are limited just to the data sources that are pre-built in the BI module. So if we do need anything outside of that, we'll have to uh, um, uh, look at a different way of accessing that directly from the SQL database.
Okay, and lastly, any idea of the cost for this module? I'm assuming we do not have it since there isn't an option to select. And I can address that one. If you are on the Viewpoint One model or the SaaS model of Spectrum, it is included. It may just be a matter of installing it or just turning it on, basically. If you are on a on-premise version of Spectrum, then it may be an add-on. And if you'd like, I will follow up with you after the fact and we can take a look at that. And if you don't have it, then I'm happy to get that pricing for you as well. Okay, I think that is it for now.
I just want to add one more thing, is that if anybody's interested, we can also at some point take a look at just the BI dashboard itself, building a series of different reports and looking at how that looks in Spectrum, and that's really a very useful really nice way to help your operations folks get a good view of different pieces of data in a dynamic view across different jobs. So if there's an interest there, that's something that we can definitely help with as well.
Great, thank you, Ganesh. I don't see any other questions at this time. So just thank you everyone for attending. And if you'd like any additional information, or if you have ideas of topics that you'd like to see covered, please just let us know. You can contact us at 877-213-3860 or clientcare@onpoint-software.com. Also, to keep up to date on new resources and upcoming events, you can follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And everybody have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.